Grace and peace to you from God our Creator and our Lord and Savior Jesus the Christ. Amen. Every time I read John chapter 21, I'm often dumbfounded by our disciples. For just a few verses in our Gospel of John, they encounter something miraculous. The one whom they thought was dead was now alive. Jesus was standing right in front of them, wounds to see, wounds to touch. Peace had been given to them. The word resurrection had meaning for them, for he has risen.
He has risen indeed. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. So let's tell the whole world of this new life through Jesus the Christ, because that's what we do with good news. We share it. We talk about it. We bring others to hear all about it. For that's exactly what our disciples did. Right? No! They go fishing. Now at this point, most of our fishing connoisseurs are rejoicing about now, trying to convince their loved ones that their upcoming fishing trip is going to be holy and blessed. Honey, the salmon trip, well, it's for Jesus. Because the Bible says so. On the contrary, what is really going on here is the difference between being familiar and unfamiliar. Simon Peter's trade is fishing as well as the other disciples as well. Resurrection was a joyous thing. Before Jesus as well as Lazarus in John chapter 11, resurrection was unfamiliar. Yet now, with Jesus' triumph, conquering of sin and death into life, what does one do with this information? What does one do with resurrection? Now, with these disciples, they really didn't have anything. They had no idea what to do with this information. So they go back to a familiar place that was safe and comfortable. Now, there's nothing wrong with going to a place that's safe and comfortable. There's nothing wrong with fishing. I have so many of those places that I feel safe and comfortable, such as my house, the place that I worship, the place that I get my hair cut, the place that I go grocery shopping, the place where I get a lot of my stories, or Walmart. I feel comfortable there. They fit into my lifestyle, or better yet, my lifestyle fits in with these places. Like a rut, like a groove. However, is that what Jesus wants with our faith? Perhaps not. So at first, the first part of our text, as far as all the way through verse 14, there's something very familiar with these disciples. They go out and fish. They know this behavior. And then Jesus pushes them, especially Peter, out to what is not easy. Starting with verse 15. When they had finished breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of John, do you love me more than these?" And he said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And Jesus said to him, "Feed my lambs." And a second time he said to them, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And he said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And Jesus said to him, "Tend my sheep." He said to him a third time, "Simon, son of John, do you love me?" And Peter felt hurt that he said to him a third time, "Do you love me?" And he said to him, "Lord, you know everything. You know everything. You know that I love you." And Jesus said to him, "Feed my sheep. Very truly I tell you, when you were younger, you used to fasten your own belt and go wherever you wish. But when you grow old, you will stretch out your hands, and someone else will fasten the belt around you and take you where you do not wish to go." And after he had said this to him, he said these words, "Follow me." Now initially, Jesus' pushing of Peter is to cancel out what happened with Peter's denial before the cross, where he denied Jesus 3 times. However, beyond that, pushing Peter and us is unfamiliar territory. Do you love me, Peter? Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. And 3 times we hear this exchange with something to follow. Feed my lambs, tend my sheep, feed my sheep. Now at this point, most of us who are sheep connoisseurs are rejoicing, saying, Pastor, I feed sheep. I'm already doing this. But that's not the point. Feeding and tending of lamb and sheep is not about being easy with our faith. It is taking that love that God has given to you and to me, and then going forth out into the world, showing it to and sharing it with everyone, and everyone who is willing to listen. For there are millions of people out beyond these walls who need Jesus and His grace. And by your feeding and your tending, by your faith, your voice is the one they need to hear it from. I know this is unfamiliar territory for so many of you, because I'm asking you to trust God to give you direction. Yet Jesus makes it clear, do you love me? And if you respond with the word boldly, yes, Lord, I do love you, then Jesus retorts with the following. I'm changing it in my words. Do something about it then. Don't give it words. Instead, act upon your faith. Break down those walls physically and figuratively and tell the whole world about this hope that we have in God. Get up and go out into the streets and then turn wailing into dancing. So if you love Jesus, prove it. Yes, prove it with your words. Prove it with your prayer. Prove it with your worship. Prove it with your serving. Prove it with every relationship that you're involved in. Prove that you love Jesus. Not just with words. Then